Welcome to Timeout with Kevin. This is the legendary R&B singer, Lenny Williams. I'm honored to have him on my YouTube channel today. So the first question is, who is your favorite artist that you've performed with?
Wow, that's kind of hard. I've performed with a lot of artists. Aretha Franklin. I performed with Charlie Wilson. There's so many different people that I perform with. It's kind of hard to say. I'd have to say maybe Aretha Franklin. You know, I mean, that was she was the Queen of Soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about your childhood for me, please? And how you grew up. Describe your childhood and how you grew up.
Oh yeah, I grew up. I was born in Arkansas, and then my parents moved to California, and I was young, like about 12, 13, 14 months old, something like that. Mm-hmm. So basically, all my life I've lived in California. Moved to Oakland, California, and I just grew up. Had an older brother, older sister, and I was the baby for around about 8 years. Then my little sister came along, moved me out, and went to church, on Sunday and all that stuff, and just kind of had like a little normal childhood. Start playing the trumpet when I was like 4 in the 4th grade, something like that, by the 4th grade. And, singing a little choir at church and stuff like that. And so just kind of a, normal childhood, growing up in Oakland, California. Yeah.
And so what influenced you to start making music?
Well, I think I was in junior high school, and one of my friends asked me to sing to some girl that lived across town on the telephone. And then she was getting all excited and everything. And I was like, oh, yeah. So that made me kind of like it a little bit. And then I was singing, at church and stuff like that. And then they had a couple of talent shows at school. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And, people seemed to like my voice. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe I got something, going on here. So I did that, in junior high and high school and stuff like that. And then I was going to college. And you just need a little extra money. So a friend of mine told me, let's go down to a talent show and see if you can make that money. I'm gonna be your manager, right? So I went down there. I think I made $20. I think that's what you got, $20 or $25 if you won. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and I gave him half, and so it just started getting exciting. Just started getting exciting, and I started saying, well, I could really sing, mm-hmm. And so it just started to be sort of like a challenge to me to just to see if I could get people to to clap and enjoy what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. And so what jump started your career, and like what was kind of like that aha moment that I really was like, okay, I can really start like really making money and like doing the bigger and better things?
Well, I think the first time was I was doing those talent shows. I'd go to this same club every Thursday night, do the talent show. So one night there was a guy there named was Ray Shanklin, mm-hmm. And he worked for Fantasy Records. And he's like, hey, you want to make a record? And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, what do you do? And he was just kind of explained it all to me and everything. And they sent me this contract, big old contract, and I read it. And I didn't really have enough money, to go to a lawyer or anything like that. Yeah. And so I just kind of read it and looked over it, and I signed it. And then I went and did. Next thing I know, I was in the studio and making my first record. Yeah.
And so I know you were with a band called Tower Power. So can you tell me a little bit about how that went and your experience with the group?
Yeah, so I'd made a record, and then I made my second record for Fantasy. And so this friend of mine was asking me, well, when are you going to do a show? And I was like, I ain't never done a show, mm-hmm. with a band or anything like that. And so she hooked me up with this guy that she knew that was a manager, and he had a band called the Motown Soul Band. and they lived like in the suburb of Oakland, And so I went out there, and it was like mostly all white people out there, and they had this little band. It was the Motown Soul Band. They like to play Motown music. So I hooked up with them, and kind of goofed around a little bit, but nothing didn't really work out, and so it didn't really progress, and so just kind of let that go. And then a couple of years later, I was working with doing some songwriting with Larry Graham. Did One in a Million, and he was with the band Sly and the Family Stone. And so we were working on songs, and then he said, I want to invite these guys over to the house, these guys from Tower Power, and put some horns on the music. And so when they came to the door, I was like, oh, I know these guys. They used to be the Motown Soul Band. Mm-hmm. And I used to be with them. And so we kind of reconnected. Then I started writing for them. And then eventually I became their singer because they were having problems with their singer. And so I became, the singer for the band.
And so to you, like, what are some major differences of like a solo career and like with a band? Like, what are some of like the challenges and like differences with that?
Well, I guess the obvious difference is that with the as a solo, it's your name, yeah. Lenny Williams, and you in the band, it's the Temptations, it's the Commodores or whatever. And so, the focal point is on you. I mean, even as being a lead singer, the focal point was on me. When we're on stage, people are looking at the lead singer, but in reality, just everything's about you. If it was a good show, it's gonna say Lenny Williams put on a great show. If it wasn't a great show, they're gonna say Lenny Williams put on a terrible show. But if it's the band, they'll say, well, Tower Power didn't do a good show last night, Mm-hmm. It could have been that the trumpet player was goofed up or whatever, So the blame and the adulation is kind of spread out when it's a band, and then when it's being just one single person, then everything just kind of comes to you, the good, the bad, ugly, all of that, and. But no, I enjoyed both. I enjoyed being in band. I enjoyed, singing, just me solo. But like I said, you have a greater responsibility when it's just you.
Mm-hmm. And so, what are some of your biggest achievements that you like really value, like personally? It might be like the smallest award or achievement. Like, what do you think?
Well, I think, just, getting gold record, getting platinum record. I remember the first gold record I got when I was in Tower Power. We never did get a gold record until after I left. Then the records kept on selling, and then they became gold. But after I left, I did a record, an album called Spark of Love that had "Cause I Love You" on it. And that record went gold. So that was a great achievement. Like, wow, finally got a gold record. Think that 1 million people bought the record. Another achievement was when Kanye West and Twista sampled me, and the Overnight Celebrity went like double platinum, and then that was real exciting. When Scarface sampled my music, that was Jay-Z and Young Jeezy and Andre 3000 sampled one of my songs. That was an achievement, mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of milestones in my career. I don't know which one is I put at the top, but definitely a lot of good things. I think one of the great things was like when Aretha Franklin came one time and wanted me to come. She's having like a little private birthday party, and she wanted me to come and sing. And I was like, cool, yeah, and then she just talking to me, like we was friends and everything like that. And I was like, oh, man, shit, give me your phone number. And I was like, oh man, shoot, this is cool, and then we got to be real good friends and stuff like that. So those are, great milestones. Get a chance to, meet Berry Gordy, hang out with Berry Gordy. It's like this tremendous achievement as far as I was concerned. Yeah.
And so how do you feel about like younger artists and like people of my generation, like still like using like sampling like your music?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I mean, I think it's an awesome thing. A lot of times people think, well, sampling, these kids aren't creative. And I was like, no, 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 no. I don't look at it that way. Uh, you can go to some of the greatest music schools in the world, Juilliard, Berklee School of Music, and then some of these guys who are majoring in symphonic music, they'll get out, and then the first thing they'll do, or maybe the only thing they do, is go back and get Beethoven and Bach and Brahms and redo their music. It's their take on their rendition of their music. And so basically say, oh, that's cool because those are classics. Well, what makes a Bill Withers song classic is because people keep on redoing it and they sample it and they do it their way. And so when people in your generation go get music and they sample it, and they sample "Cause I Love You," then that makes "Cause I Love You" a classic. That makes the 9-year-olds and the 10-year-olds and the 18 and 20-year-olds like the music, and so and makes the music classic. And then also from a business point of view, like I did my writing and I own my publishing. So when Kanye and Twista sampled me, I started getting money. One day I came home and I had 2 checks, one for $94,000 for writing the song, and one for $94,000 for being the publisher of the song. So because I had taken care of business and held on to my publishing, I made almost $200,000 in one day. I mean, it took up time for those records to sell, but one day, bam, I just walk in the house and I got, almost $250,000 laying on the table.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that some youngster who wasn't even born when I wrote my song decided to sample it. So I love sampling. I think it's an awesome thing, not just for the money, but for the fact that it keeps the music alive and makes the music classic. And then secondary, if you wrote it and you maintain your rights and you publish it, then it's going to take care of you.
So, all right, so, "Cause I Love You" is one of your biggest songs. So what inspired you to write that song? Like what inspired you to write it?
Well, I used to write with a friend of mine. He was a little youngster, as a matter of fact. And his dad used to work at my house, fixing my house up and stuff. And, he told me his son could write. So then we started, so I finally relented and listened to his son. His son actually was a good little songwriter. And we would write all the time. And so one morning he came over to write. And I was like, I don't really feel like it. And he's like, why? So me and my girl got into it. And I'm just not feeling it. He said, well, let's write about it. And then, bam, we went and sat down at the piano, dun, 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 and then, rest is history. So, that's what really inspired me to write that song. So I was trying to get in another fight with my girlfriend, write another song, but it was getting along pretty good though. Yeah.
So do you know, like, when you have like a hit, or is every song kind of like you don't know, like, did you know that song would like be like the one?
No, not really. I didn't know that. I mean, actually, I did that song twice. The first time I did it, I was on Motown, and nothing happened. And I didn't have a talking in it, and it was a little faster. It wasn't like fast, but it wasn't dun, 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 it wasn't like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't like that, it was, more up. And then I started doing it on my shows. And I did it for about a year and a half or 2 years, just doing shows. So then I slowed it down. Then I started putting the talking in there, broke it down, put the talking in there. Then I went back in the studio, and I was on ABC Records then, and redid it, and then bam, that's when when it hit, So it taught me a lesson that just because a song doesn't your first rendition of a song, just because it doesn't hit with the public, or doesn't do what you think, you can go back and rework it, rewrite it, add on, subtract, whatever to it, and you just don't give up on a song. But I don't know, songs, I mean, when I write them, I like them all, but then you just never know It's all like cooking. You cook, boom, you lay it all out there, and then after it's all over, saying nobody ate those potatoes. It's like and they ate the corn, they ate the peas, they ate the ribs, but we mess with potatoes. But then you might taste them and say, oh, okay, maybe I put too much salt in them, or I didn't put enough of this in there, or whatever. Too much oregano. Then you go back and you fool around with it, and then the next day, then everybody is eating it. So, so the same thing with music. You just say, all songs that I write. I mean, I write them and I like them. But then it, then it, it's different when they resonate with the public. If people might like it, but are they gonna spend $1 on it? They're gonna go to iTunes and bam, and hit that button and download it and pay for it. It's another thing. So it's just. But I love them all. I love every song that I wrote. But I cannot determine which song is gonna be a hit. I mean, I've been right a lot of times, but I've been wrong sometimes too. Yeah.
So what advice would you give like younger artists like coming up now? Like what would be your biggest advice to somebody trying to make music and stuff? Or
well, I'll just say be good at what you do. If you're making beats, you're making music, or you're singing, dancing, whatever it is, being an engineer, be good at that. And then try to have a good personality, because you just never know where being nice, being polite, having a good smile can get you. Having a decent conversation with somebody, and then you might go to the studio, go to somebody's office or something like that, and then there's the receptionist sitting out front, and you might have a little snotty attitude with them. And then you come back 2 years later, and they running the place. Now that they the general manager, or they the president or something, and then you squandered an opportunity to befriend somebody. So I say it's just always nice to kind of be nice, have a good personality, have a conversation with people, and make an impression. And then I guess the next piece of advice I would give young artists is to just stay away from drugs and substances. Don't get involved with get any substance abuse, because it can dull your talent. It can make you do something that you don't want to do. Be at a function and say the wrong thing, start a fight with somebody, get in an argument with somebody, or just act ugly. And then then the next thing your name come up, and that that's the impression that they have of you. And then a lot of times substance abuse can dull your skills too. And so that's been a lot of indications that people who get drink too much or use too much drugs or something like that, it can affect their voice or their creativity. So I say those are the main suggestions or advice that I would give to a young talent.
So my next question is, what does music mean to you?
I mean, music is just about everything to me. I mean, it's my, I feel like it's my gift from God, so it connects me with God. It's my gift to my fellow human beings, so it connects me with the people. It's been the thing that's enabled me to, it makes me happy, when I'm involved with music. And it, it's been a source of income for me. I mean, it's taken care of me most of my life, and so helped me put my kids through college, and raise them, put them through college, help them buy houses. Now I'm doing that for my grandkids. So music has just been a blessing to me. Yeah. So I love it.
So out of all your albums, which one is your favorite and why?
Well, I'd have to say my favorite up to this point would be the Spark of Love album, because that was the one that had "Cause I Love You" on it, and it was my first gold record. But I have a new CD that just came out last week. It's called "Fine," and I'm really excited about that because I don't know. I just really feel like this record is representing me, who I am at this stage of my life. You know, it's like I found something that's really, really good, the way I found the Spark of Love experience, you know, back in the 70s. And so I'm really excited about that. So right now it's Spark of Love, but it remains to be seen. This new record, Fine, is got me pretty excited. And and so, you know, maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, you ask me, I might have another one. You know, Fine might be it. Yes.
And I was just about to ask you, like, talk about like your new album to everybody and what made you want to write this one.
Well, you know, I had actually decided I wasn't going to make any records anymore, and then a friend of mine asked me to do him a favor and help this one artist out. So I went to help the artist out, and his producer was this guy named Levi Caesar. And so I was talking to Levi, and you know, he was the guitar player, played for Prince for about 13 years in the New Power Generation band. And so we started talking, and you know, got to be friends. And then you know, we wanted to do some music together. So then we started writing together, and then I was like, oh man, I got my energy back. You know, it's like, you know, and I was getting my creativity and everything. So it just kind of like jump started me. And then I was telling my friend DOA, Derek Allen, about how that, you know, I'm really excited about making music again. And so he was working on the new album for Kim that just came out last week. And so then he was like, okay, come on down. And then him and I wrote some songs. And so, you know, it was just, I just got kind of re-inspired to, I've just been doing a whole lot of shows. It's like, I've just been doing shows, so many shows that every weekend, just doing shows. And then it's like, I was just like, I don't even need to make another record. You know, it's like, I probably could do shows the rest of my life without making a record, just working off of the stuff I did. And so I, you know, just kind of set my creativity to the side a little bit. And then, well, hooking up with Levi just kind of gave me a big spark, you know, kind of set a fire. And then I hooked up with a DOA and started writing. And then I hooked up with Thomas Shelby, a friend of mine that is in Lakeside. And then we started writing songs, and it's just, you know, so I'm on fire right now. Yeah, I'm hot.
So what's your favorite song on the new album?
I don't know. I know I like the song All Night, you know, and then I wrote a song called Shine on there with me and my granddaughter and DOA, which I like a lot. And I like the song Southern Girl, and then I like the song Dance With Me. There's a lot of songs on there that I like, yeah. So it's but it remains to be seen. You know, I tend to like songs that distinguish themselves. So songs that become a hit that the people like, then it makes me like it even more, because then I say, well, because that's part of the reason that you write songs, is that it resonates, it touches other people. You know, it's not, you know, I write it for me, but I write it for you. And so then when you like it and your sister and your auntie like it, you know what I mean, then it makes me like it even more. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it was like let's go back to the example of having a restaurant. If you had a restaurant, you were a chef, and then, you know, you cook something and everybody likes it, then you say, oh, well, then I'm gonna put more of that on the menu, because then it helps me realize what people like, and then I can write more like that. You know, I can try to recreate that, write more songs like that. And so, so it kind of remains to be seen what my favorite songs are right now. I mean, I have an opinion, but my opinion is going to be my final opinion is going to be dictated by the response of the public.
Mm-hmm. So this is my bonus segment. I do with everybody.
Okay.
So tell me your top 5 favorite artists.
Well, I'd have to say Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke, I like Kanye West, James Brown, And modern day, I like Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, okay. I love Sam Cooke. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Sam Cooke's top of my list. Yes, yeah.
I love Sam. I love Sam. So, and my second question is, what's your favorite? Give me your top 5 athletes, and what's your favorite sport?
Well, my favorite sport is boxing, and my top 5 actors.
Athletes.
Oh, athletes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, athletes. Okay, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. He's at the top. Michael Jordan. Simone Biles. Let's see, athletes, okay. Muhammad Ali would have to say, and I'd probably say Jackie Robinson.
So, all right, my last question. This is my last question. Who would you really want to work for? It can be anybody that you can think of. Who is somebody you really want to make a song with?
I'd probably say Kanye West.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah. Kanye's pretty talented, I mean, yeah. I think that, once he got the challenge, I mean, somebody said, hey, Kanye, I want you to do a song with Bocelli or whomever. He'd come up with something, because he got that mind to make him think of something, that's going to work. Yeah. So I would say probably Kanye or Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, I think, would be good. I don't know what he's done a lot lately, but I think that those are producers. But when you talk about an artist, like another singer, another artist. Oh, maybe somebody like Beyonce. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah, at least I could dance with her, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you for allowing me to do this. I'm still kind of nervous, but
you did a good job. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So once again, thank you. I listened to "Cause I Love You" at least 12 times before I called you. So just to have my mind prepped up for it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I love that song. I'm glad that you like it, and and I appreciate you. And just keep up the good work.
Thank you. I will.
You're doing an excellent job, and stay in school and get that degree. You're gonna become like you want to be like a psychologist,
Yeah. So I want to be like a counselor for prisoners.
Okay, like a EMF.
I've been doing probably for about a year now. I've been doing like one-on-one sessions and stuff like that, just with different prisoners and stuff. So this is what I really want to do. This is like a great side thing to do. But this is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You can also
do music therapy, when you work with prisoners, because that's very effective too. Yeah, right. Yeah. Work with prisoners, working with young kids and things like that. Yeah, because music has a way of soothing people and getting to them. Yeah. Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah, so keep it up. I worked with a lot of gangs and stuff like that back in the day, doing with working as a counselor and things like that. And it was I see a lot of youngsters that they now in their 40s and 50s that I used to work with, and help out, and they're doing good. Some of them didn't. You can't save everybody, but because it's really primarily up to them. But so that's excellent. What you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
But all right. So, thank you. Like I said, once again. So, have a great day.
Okay. You do the same. God bless. All right.
Well, you too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye now.